Good afternoon and welcome to St. Newsfile. I'm Brendan Donald. Emmanuel Pointe-Agir will have a look at the latest highlights later in the show. What can we expect?
Well, we're going to be taking a look at the Oilers. We're going to be taking a look at some NBA playoff action and the Calgary Surge.
Can't wait. Taryn Jo Vinning has been enjoying the spring-like temperatures. How's it looking out there, Taryn Jo?
Hey Brendan, as you can see right behind me, it is snowing a little. We're getting that winter wonderland type action during springtime here in Calgary and on state campus. It currently feels like plus 4 degrees. With the wind chill, it is minus 4 degrees. And last year it was 9 degrees, so wish we had that weather right now. And if we want to go all the way back to 1927, the record low on April 20th was minus 27.2 degrees, so thankfully we're not in that. And the record high for this day and back in 1943 was plus 17.2 degrees. And I'll have a look at more of the weather later on in the show. Back to you, Brendan.
Thanks, Taryn Jo. Now here's a look at today's top stories. More than 155,000 federal workers across Canada currently on the largest strike in the country's history. In Calgary, a large gathering of strikes have been outside the Harry Hayes building for the past 2 days. Our Brett Lipkowski has been down there in the middle of the action. Brett, what's it like out there?
Well, Brendan, it's been a chilly April day here outside of the Harry Hayes building in downtown Calgary. The picketers have all packed up and left for the day, but the chilly weather did not stop them from coming out here earlier today and walking the picket lines. After 2 years of negotiations that have seemingly gone nowhere, more than 1,500 public servants in Calgary are striking alongside fellow union workers across the country. Workers are braving the chilly weather and the snow to fight for their rights. The union is looking for a 4.5% wage increase per year for the next 3 years, while the federal government has countered with 3%. The picket lines got started at 6:30 in the morning and are expected to continue until 5 p.m. every day until a deal is reached. Union workers say they aren't asking for much, simply the ability to provide for the people they care about.
We need to feed our families, we need to pay our bills. We don't have the ability to do that with the way that our wages have diminished through the last little while. Public servants have been here for Canadians throughout the pandemic, throughout the last few years. We're here year after year. We want the government to be there for us.
Public support has been a mixed bag, but workers have been met with lots of honking horns from passers-by. For the union, solidarity will be key, as some workers feel the government isn't even willing to listen on other demands, such as greater limits on remote work.
The government has refused to even acknowledge some of our requests that we have, our demands, and having the backing of 155,000 people to get us a collective agreement is a lot to us.
The federal government, however, is saying the negotiating should be happening behind closed doors and that striking isn't what's best for Canadians.
The reality is Canadians have every right and expectation to see the services that they expect delivered.
The striking union workers want to get back to work to provide for the public, but they don't believe they can do so under the current conditions.
And further, we can't support Calgarians if we can't afford our own lives.
Getting your tax return or your passport renewed will be delayed until a new collective bargaining agreement can be reached between the two sides. But the union workers say they are hoping to reach an agreement as soon as possible so they can go back to offering services to Canadians. Back to you, Brendan.
That was Brett Lipkowski reporting live from the Harry Hayes building. Thanks, Brett. If you are planning to book a flight with WestJet next month, you may want to think again. WestJet pilots voted in favor of job action should a negotiating settlement not be reached by May 16th. As Noah Adler reports, it has many travelers concerned.
Both parties should consider each other's concern and they should try to find out some middle way.
WestJet pilots, who are represented by the Airline Pilots Association, voted on Tuesday to walk away should there not be a settlement by May 16th. The pilots are asking for better pay and working conditions, including equity for pilots working at WestJet's discount airline Swoop. That has left many normal flyers at the airline very concerned and wonder what will happen to their flights, but also concerned as to whether other airlines may follow the same lead.
Yeah, it definitely concerns me because as you mentioned, I'm a primary WestJet flyer. And what concerns me even more is that there's news that the Air Canada pilots might be following suit.
While there are some people who don't normally fly with the airline aren't concerned, they feel sympathy for those who have flights booked with WestJet before and possibly after May 16th.
I'm not worried for my own personal selfish reasons, but I feel bad for other people if they have flights booked around that time. But I try to avoid traveling when it's holidays and long weekends. So,
Despite WestJet not having the reputation that it once had, Leslie Kiter says that due to the lack of airline competition in Canada, WestJet's current clients really have no other alternatives.
Well, you know, if we had more competition in Canada, I would say yes. But really, we've only got two big players here, Air Canada and WestJet. So the Canadian flying public doesn't really have much choice there.
WestJet has already lost more than 300 pilots to other airlines in the last 18 months. The union says the pilots are paid 45% less than pilots in the United States. While Alpha says that pilots are allowed to commence job on May 16th, they also say that they are currently committed to the bargaining process. For State Newsfile, I'm Noah Adler.
The lawyer for Jaskirat Singh Sidhu, who was involved in the Humboldt Broncos crash, has gotten the okay to argue against his client being deported. Sidhu was sentenced to 8 years after pleading guilty for dangerous driving that caused death and bodily harm in the crash that killed 16 and injured an added 13. The Canadian Border Services Agency recommended last year that Sidhu be handed over to Immigration and Refugee Board to decide what should be done next. The agency has previously declined to comment on the case, but has indicated it has built-in steps to ensure procedural fairness. Another shooting downtown took place on Wednesday morning is being called yet another example of random violence. The shooting took place early Wednesday morning near the 300 block of 12th Avenue Southwest, with several people reporting gunshots in the area. While police investigate the area, they found evidence of the shooting with stray bullets at the scene in a nearby building. So far, no victims or offenders have been found that could be related to the shooting. Police believe that the shooting is a targeted attack. Just last week, Chief Mark Neufeld indicated Calgary is still a safe place to live, and police are doing all they can to keep it that way.
This is a big city problem. Our city's experienced spikes in violence before, as you know. We've grappled with gang and gun violence in the past, and on those occasions, we have come together and we have driven those numbers down, and we will do that again.
Said despite the recent violent crimes incidents, stats show that crime is actually down compared to last year. Plans for a new revitalization project on Calgary's historical Stephen Avenue have been temporarily put on hold. Commercial real estate company TrioVest withdrew its permits for the three-tower project. The project would have boosted the downtown residential numbers as well as having improved tourism with more hotels on Stephen Avenue. Some of the oldest buildings in Calgary are on Stephen Avenue, with some dating back to 1890. The City of Calgary are still confident it will make these upgrades.
I can tell you that 2 years into our 10-year plan for downtown revitalization, we're already at 30% of target. So although it's disappointing when a project has to take a pause, I remain very optimistic that we will see many more.
TrioVest says it isn't completely scrapping the project, but are going to come up with a new plan in the future. As warmer temperatures start kicking in, more and more people will be out and about. The City of Calgary has introduced a new program helping families save money on transit. Families of 5, including up to 2 adults, now have the option to purchase a weekend pass for $15, and it will be valid for unlimited travel. Calgary Transit says the price of the pass is less expensive than if each person were to buy a ticket. Unlike a single-day pass, the group pass will be available until the end of the day. Many Calgarians who ride the train often feel it will make it easier on their pockets. Spring is just over the horizon, and the snow melting in Calgary, drivers are facing the latest wave of potholes. With potholes popping up at a high rate for this time of year, drivers are having to avoid them to keep their cars running. The City of Calgary is sending out extra crews just to try and keep up with the amount that they have popped up over the melt. The city only has a small window to properly fill and repair these holes, mainly because they need dry, warmer temperatures. The Calgary Airport has announced it's getting rid of its famous toy airplane within the facility. The planes have been a staple at the airport for more than 20 years, but due to seat capacity limits, the art installment has to be removed. Travis Neal has been flying around this story.
These toy airplanes have had a home within the Calgary airport for 2 decades and are now finally landing. Although it's sad to see the art installation come down, the artist is happy to know he'll get the artifact back safely and in working condition.
Well, you would like to think that maybe the sculptures would be there for the rest of my life. That would be really easy. But the airport had to make some hard decisions. They have to rework that space, and it's no longer possible for them to stay there. So on one side, it's really sad. But on the other side, I'm really grateful that the airport will also give me the resources to be able to remove them correctly.
Jeff DeBoer, the artist that created this work, says it all started when he was asked along with 2 other artists to come up with a sculpture idea to bring life to the airport.
But they did have a design brief. They wanted it to be colorful, they wanted it to be about the history of aviation, and they wanted it to connect to young and old people. So when I came to the competition, I actually brought this. I built this small tin toy. I thought, wouldn't it be nice if we could build large airplane tin toys that, because the tin toy is old people knew about those, and as toys that would connect to children, and that I could make historical airplane versions of tin toys.
DeBoer's idea was chosen by the airport for the project, and after 5,000 hours to create, that saw 5 people work 10-hour shifts 5 days a week for a little over 7 months, the final piece was unveiled back in 2003. There's still no word where all the planes will land, but the Hangar Museum may take some of them on. No matter what art gallery, owners say these kinds of work bring color to our day-to-day lives.
Without having art in it, it would be a very monochromatic world, is my take on it. Very black and white, and it would be very sad to see.
With small artifacts like this one taking over 200 hours to make, it puts into perspective how precious the final product of these artworks are. For State Newsfile, I'm Travis Neal.
It's out with the new and in with the old as Calgarians are turning to vintage resellers for all their latest clothing trends. The Relove Market and others like it have mostly popped up sales around Calgary. It has become a non-traditional way to sell clothes instead of going to the mall. Resellers pay a fee to occupy the stall at the market in the hopes of selling their collections. Many resellers got involved with reselling the scene because of the concerns of the environment and the ethics of the fashion industry.
Fashion is the second largest pollutant in the world, which is huge if you think about it. A lot of the times companies such as Shein, fast fashion companies are pumping out thousands of pieces a day or new items a day. And the quality is just terrible. Working conditions are terrible. It's not ethical at all.
With fast fashion on the rise, it is discouraging those who want to clothes ethically sourced, environmentally friendly, and good on the wallet, but with more pop-ups coming into the scene, having a good scene of style can be much more obtainable. Those are today's top stories. We'll have a full forecast after the break, but first, Taryn Vinning has a look at what's going on around Calgary this week.
If you're craving some laughter over the weekend, you can watch Mo Mandel crack you up at the Laugh Shop tonight and throughout the weekend. Tickets start from $17. Want to take it all the way back to the Jurassic period? Roar the day away at Jurassic Quest down at BMO Center this weekend. Tickets start from $22. If you're in the spring spirit and love knitting, you can have some fun checking out the Fiber Shindig at the Genesis Center on Saturday. Tickets start from $5. If you're looking to grab some makeup and other essentials to gear up for the summer, why not head on down to the BMO Center to check out the National Women's Show this weekend. Tickets are only $12. And if you're craving some pancakes this weekend, then you can take a trip to the Nutrien Western Event Center in Stampede Park to check out Aggie Days and eat some tasty pancakes for free.
I used to hear voices. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I don't matter. Walked around in circles, didn't know where to go. Until I found my purpose. Through people that helped me live a better life and build a better future. Now I could finally see that I'm able, capable, and worthy.
Come and learn the fast-paced world of television production. Find your passion to write, shoot, edit, and direct news, sports, and dramatic productions. With industry-standard technology and the best instructors in the business, SAIT's television production program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in broadcasting. This is television production. Come and dare to be on air.
Welcome back to SAIT Newsfile. I wish I was having those pancakes over the weekend on Aggie Days, but hey, we'll take a look at the weather. Starting out in the west, as you can see, Vancouver, there is a rain system along the coast that is sweeping away into Vancouver. They will see some of that rain for the rest of the week next week, so buckle up if you're in Vancouver. And there was that low pressure system a few days ago in Edmonton that has found its way to Regina and Winnipeg, bringing in some snow, which is typical for Regina and Winnipeg this time of year. It's bringing a snowfall warning, so buckle up if you're in those areas. And now heading out east. As you can see in the eastern parts of the country, Toronto, Montreal, Halifax, there is a high pressure system bringing in stable weather, and the lone exception is St. John's, where you can see it is raining a little. That rain is expected to stay. That low pressure system from Regina and Winnipeg is expected to come into the eastern parts of the country by Monday, but now we'll take a look at where a place we'd rather be down south in the resorts. In Palm Springs, it's a sunny 32 degrees. In Barbados, it's sunny at 28 degrees. In Cancun, it's 29 degrees and sunny as well. In Honolulu, it's partly cloudy and 28 degrees. In Orlando, it's sunny and 30 degrees. And finally, in Sin City, it's 25 degrees and sunny as well. And taking a look at Calgary today, the temperature currently is 4 degrees, but that feels like -4 because of the wind chill. The conditions are partly cloudy, but we saw some of the little spurts of snowfall throughout the day. The wind is coming in at 3 kilometers per hour, and the conditions up next throughout the day are partly cloudy, and that snow is expected to remain. Now, looking at the rest of the province, as you can see, Grand Prairie and Fort McMurray and Edmonton are seeing better weather than us down south in the province. Red Deer, Calgary, Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, and Banff, we are seeing those little spurts of snow, but that isn't expected to remain, as it is expected to sweep in through Regina and Winnipeg. So now we'll take a look at the 5-day forecast. And as you can see, the next few days in Calgary are expected to get some better weather than we saw the last few days. Tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, we are expected to see some nice springtime weather. So if you do have a patio, you can enjoy some beer, watching some Stanley Cup playoff action. And up next, we have sports with Emmanuel Pointer.
What do you think of when you hear the word home? A place to rest? A place to play. A place for friends and family to gather. There are people in the city who unfortunately don't have that. They only have a house. WINS wants to change that. Donate household items to the House to Home program and help make a house a home again. It's only when you have homes that you have a community.
Come and learn the fast-paced world of television production. Find your passion to write, shoot, edit, and direct news, sports, and dramatic productions. With industry-standard technology and the best instructors in the business, SAIT's television production program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in broadcasting. This is television production. Come and dare to be on air.
Welcome back to SAIT Newsfile. Emmanuel Pointer joins us now for a latest look at the highlights. What can we expect, Emmanuel?
Well, we're going to be taking a look at some NHL playoffs, some NBA playoffs, but first we start with the Calgary Surge. The Canadian Elite Basketball League had their youth sports draft on Wednesday, and the Calgary Surge were the 3rd overall pick and ended up selecting 6'4" point guard Mason Boursier. Boursier played this past year on Newfoundland Growlers, where he averaged 16 points per game, going along with a monster 9.5 rebounds and 8 assists. He also set the season record for triple doubles at 4. Boursier will now get set for the Surge season opener on May 27th against the Edmonton Stingers. The Edmonton Oilers look to bounce back following a disappointing overtime Game 1 loss at the hands of the Los Angeles Kings on Monday. We pick it up early in the first period. It's Leon Draisaitl with some beautiful stick work. He missed the shot, but it deflected right to Derek Ryan, who taps it in to put the Oilers up 1-0. Later in the period on the power play, it's Evan Bouchard who threads the needle to Draisaitl, who buries the one-timer and scores to put Edmonton 2-0. Such a beautiful goal. We move to the second period. Kings not going away. It's Adrian Kempe who had a few attempts close, but then puts one in to bring the Kings to within one. Then in the dying seconds of the period, Gabriel Velarde puts on the moves and scores inside to tie the game at 2 apiece. Early in the third, Klim Kostin decides to rip one on net and scores to put the Oilers back up. They would hold on to win the game 4-2. Leon Draisaitl and Evander Kane both end with a goal each. The series is now tied at 1 apiece, and which will set up a Game 3 tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock in Los Angeles. The Toronto Maple Leafs are back in action for Game 2 against the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Lightning were dominant as they finished the game with 7 goals, putting the higher seed Toronto behind in the series 1-0. The Maple Leafs will try to get one back and hope to exercise their round 1 demons, as they haven't made it to the second round since 2004. The Leafs will try to get back in the series tonight for Game 2 after a 7-3 loss in Game 1. Puck drop is set for 5 o'clock in Toronto. As we take a look at the NHL playoff bracket, we have 4 games on tap for tonight. The aforementioned Maple Leafs will take on the Lightning. Rangers, who lead the series 1-0, visit the Devils. The Seattle Kraken look to go up 2-0 in the series as they invade Colorado. And the Jets, winner of Game 1, take on the Golden Knights. With the series tied 1-1, the Toronto Blue Jays are hoping to take the series in Houston as they faced off against the Astros. We picked this one up in the 8th inning. Jose Abreu collects a base hit and an RBI double as 2 runners would come home for Houston. The struggles would continue for the Jays as Jeremy Pena slaps one to left field for a home run and an RBI triple. The Blue Jays were unable to muster up anything following the 8th inning disaster, falling to the Astros 8-1 as they lose the series. Up next for the Jays is a date in the Big Apple to square off against the New York Yankees. Action begins tomorrow afternoon at 5:05 p.m. After falling in Game 1 of the series and with no Giannis Antetokounmpo for Game 2 out with a back injury, the Bucks will need to rely on others to step up as they face the Miami Heat. We start late in the first. It's Jimmy Butler driving to the rim and getting the and one to put the Bucks lead to 4. Then it's Brook Lopez who beats the buzzer to give Milwaukee a 7-point lead at the end of 1. As we head to the second, it's Jimmy Butler who misses a jumper, and Pat Connaughton leads the fast break as he swings a pass to Drew Holiday, who sinks the 3-pointer. On the ensuing possession, it's Milwaukee starting to pull away. Brook Lopez not giving up on the play, getting the bucket to go and the foul. Milwaukee would end up keeping their lead to take Game 2. The Bucks hold on 138-122 as Brook Lopez and the Heat's Jimmy Butler would each end with 25 points. Drew Holiday chipped in with a double-double for Milwaukee. Taking a look at the NBA bracket, 3 games on tonight in the triple header, starting with the Sixers up 2-0 taking on the Nets. Kings hoping to light the beam as they take on the defending champion Warriors, and the Suns travel to LA to take on the Clippers. And that's all at a look at sports.
There's been a lot of fun playoff action. You gotta absolutely love all this amazing hockey playoff action. But after the break, some of our instructors have some words of wisdom for us as we head out into the working world.
Did you know that having your pet neutered can increase their lifespan? While pets that are not neutered are at a high risk of infection and disease. When adopting a pet, the Rescue Friends Animal Foundation pets available for adoptions are already neutered. Adopt your own neutered pet at Rescued Friends.
Come and learn the breaking world of broadcast news. Find your passion to investigate, write, shoot, edit, and deliver the stories of the day. SAIT's broadcast news program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in radio and television. Become the next great anchor, reporter, or personality, using industry standard technology alongside qualified instructors with years of experience. This is Broadcast News. Come and dare to be on air.
'Tis the season to graduate, and instructors are passing down their last words of wisdom. As students wrap up their semester and potentially their program, instructors at SAIT are saying goodbye along with important advice. Ella Matt has more.
Wrapping up the 2022 to 2023 school year, students are excited about the road ahead. Some students in the radio, television, and broadcast news program already have a job, including me. So I looked to the instructors for some timely advice.
Go where the jobs are right now. That's where I want to remind students today, be willing to go somewhere that you might not be comfortable being in, right? Because it's a great opportunity to learn your craft.
Our experimental model here at SAIT really helps students hit the ground running, but it's not all about just what we learned in the course itself.
Use those skills as a leader, step up and do things. Don't wait to be asked to do something. Just if you see something that needs to be done, go ahead and do it.
Instructors will also cherish the time they had with students and are proud to see their growth.
To me, it's like I run up to the TV every time I see one of our students, graduates, and I run over to the TV and take a picture. And my wife goes, "Why are you doing that?" Because we're so proud of what you've accomplished.
Instructors also reminded their students to put the most into their work and to enjoy every day.
Always do your best. Don't sweat the small stuff, and remember to laugh every single day.
Instructors are sentimental about graduation as the grads turn the page and journey into a new chapter. One last time for SAIT Newsfile, I'm Ella Matt.
Well, that was such great words of wisdom. I can't believe it. But taking a look at the sports, we're all big sports guys, a lot of NHL playoffs. How do you guys feel about it?
I think that the Toronto Maple Leafs might finally win a game tonight. I know they got off to a rocky start. What about you, Emmanuel?
I think they'll bounce back. I think they'll bounce back.
Yeah, Toronto, just like their last game, we are seeing some of that scrappy little weather in Calgary, so why not take a look at that? As you can see, the 5-day forecast in Calgary right now, it's currently 4 degrees, the low tonight's -2, but as we sweep into the weekend, we are seeing that nice temperature, high of 11 on Saturday, 13 on Sunday, so I don't know about you, but I'm going to catch some of that playoff action over the weekend.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the Kings. Light the beam.
Yeah. Same thing with the Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs play on Saturday, the Knights as well. What about you, Brendan?
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, Shane McQueen, one of our instructors, big Boston guy, and right now they're tied up in their series, so it's a lot of really interesting hockey action, especially with basketball as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great stuff happening there too.
Yeah, a lot of great action.
Yeah, so what are you guys planning to do? What sport are you mostly looking forward to watching here for the rest of the playoffs?
I'm a Stanley Cup playoff guy. I think the NBA playoffs get better towards the end, but Stanley Cup playoffs is where it's at.
And thank you all for joining us here on SAIT Newsfile.